Well, my friends, here we go again. King of Steepness news. We have to talk. I have a bike which someone borrowed me. A race bike, but in an own construction, you know, with a complete other. This too, like the race cyclings, the race bikes. I will tell something and the news. King of Steepness, if you don't know it, I had now the influenza. I was ill, was 9 days, 8-9 days in bed. Now I'm not allowed to make sports, you know. That means I'm out of the game for 1 month. And King of Steepness, I have created this. That means the steepest part in my city, all by once. Never go down from the bicycle, you drive to the steepest part here, to the steepest here, on and on and on. At the end of the day you have around 6-7 hours, 8 hours, I don't know, depends how fast you are. And now I have a new bike here, absolutely fantastic, because I always drove my whole life with mountain bikes. And to me mountain bike means early to middle 90s mountain bikes with no you know, hard things. Here it also hard. There is no, how is it called, those jumping things, you know. I don't have it. My mountain bike doesn't have it. That means the lightest bike which I have ever driven is around 12 kilo 5, you know, 12,5 kilo is the lightest what I ever drove. And this bike now, to me, an absolutely light one, you know. But for race cyclists this will be not a light one. But I tell you, it has 9 kilo, you know. To me that is, wow, 9 kilo, that is so light to me. You know, when you are used up to drive always 12,5 kilo or the other bike 13 kilo 5, then 9 kilo is absolutely light. But the nowadays race cyclists are much slower, you know. I had one very nice who borrowed me his bike. This is his bike. You see, he extra made such a tool on here with the thing to change the position, and that is much more comfortable to ride with. And to me, I told you but before, we are here at one of the steepest parts which I will show you now. Maybe the steepest street from all of King of Steepness, but it is not long, only a few meters the steepest part. But when you see that is, wow, we have a wide angle on. But now watch, boom, this tool in there, you know. When you are staying here, you know, and you know steep parts, then you will say, wow, shit, what is that? I tell you that is, when you experience in that, then you say, what? That is brutal. And there we will go now. And then I will tell something about bicyclings, about the King of Steepness, you know, about what is the difference with the weight, you know. So we will go there. I take it now. And I will say more about this bike, because that is other than mine bikes. And there we will come to. When you are always used to a mountain bike that has a other, you know, other this ratio, no, in comparison, and the weight is more higher, especially from back then, you know, with the alu. Now they have carbon. But you know, I always take this bike what I get. You know, I drove my whole life my bike which I got when I was a teenager, you know. And that bike was damaged in 2019, and from there on I drove the city bike, you know. The city bike which you can rent from the city. That means you pay 40 euro, around 50 euro in the year, and then you can rent it every day for 30 minutes for free. And when you give it back under 30 minutes to the station and rent a new one, then you have another 30 minutes for free. So that means you can drive always for free, because we have over 500 bikes here, and I don't know how many stations, 70 stations, 50, 70, 90 stations in the city. So that means you have always thing. And now here we go. This is the entrance, and on there starts those steep thing. And I will today count it out in percentage, you know. I drive by King of Steepness. There is also one part which is called the Höttinger Höll. And that was the steepest part of a world championship in racing, in race cycling. 2018, the best drivers in the whole wide world were here, and they had the championship for world champion here, and that was the steepest part, 28%, you know. But this road, I tell you, is steeper, you know. And there we come also to a thing, because nowadays people, they are used, you know, to computers. They have all their board computer, they have only up by Strava and Komoot, and what this tells is the holy grave. And they have the heartbeat, the distance is all nice and great, you know. I also like this in the 90s. There we started with those small computers, you know, where you had an extra tool in the bicycle that it counts how fast you are. With 12 years, you know, I drove 74 km/h, you know, without a helmet, very stupid, but back then it was so, you know. With shoes, with those, you know, when that opens up, oh, then you get scared, because then you cannot make this, you know. I all had this, you know, I'm experienced. I learned it from a champion in racing, in race cycling. I told you this, he was decades ago a champion from a city. And we drove always with the mountain bike. And I take this bicycle what I have. It was always the same, because I learned it in that way. In tennis also, you have to be good with every racket. You know, if this is a good racket or not, when you are really good, then you can play it with everyone, with every racket. The same I had here. I had a bicycle, why to change it, you know? And we don't have money, so I cannot buy this and that and on and on and on. I take this what I have. And now I have a bike which I have never driven with such small wheels, you know, those thin wheels. Complete the other thing, and here we are. And I was here yesterday, you know. I made a video, but there I made a mistake, because to me, you know, I have no heartbeat. It's to me nowadays uninteresting, because what brings me the heartbeat? When it is deep, I know, can I do it or not, you know. I know why people are doing that, but I tell you, it's the same with this Strava and Komoot. People watch there, and when there are routes in, they drive this, and then they think these are all routes which are possible. Like here, they think the Höttinger Höll is the steepest. No, it's not. Why? Because I know it, I drive here. And maybe such routes are not in there, because this ends in nowhere. There you have to drag your bicycle the way up, and now watch. Wow, that is absolutely brutal, I tell you that. When you see that, when you enter in from here, and also this is steep, but when you see that from a wide distance, that is absolutely brutal, you know. And I will count it out in percentage, you know. And people only, I have seen so many people who said, boy, shit, this tool, Google Maps or Strava, whatever, brought me to a wrong route, what a shit, yeah. I mean, make it with your head, you know. Drive a little bit like back in the days with adventure. Hey, I watch out, and not only, oh, watching to the smartphone, oh, what is my heartbeat, oh, I'm 2 beats too high, I have to come down, and on and on and on. That is not relaxing, you know. But everyone is other. And so I never knew how many percentage steepness these tools have. But I can tell you, when I know that Höttinger Höll has 28%, then I can tell you from my experience that this is much steeper, because I know it, because I drive this all the times. But I never knew how steep this is, and then there come other people and tell, no, because on Strava or on this, the steepest part is this route and there can be no other. No. And there are, you know, they watch only who was the fastest in there. There can be no other. No, there can also be people like me who never are interested in such tools, you know. And here, that is brutal. And yesterday I was here. I have now an app on the smartphone which counts it out. And then I have seen yesterday, I made a mistake, 15%. And I said, no, that is shit, that is not 15% steepness. But the mistake I will tell you now. But I have to watch now where I take the bicycle. And that is brutal, you know. And for example, how I look, you know. I drive with normal shoes, normal jean, and then you don't get much respect, because people think, hey, this guy has never done something with bicycling. You know what I mean? Because I don't have this dress on what the a bicycle dress and bicycle shoes and on and on and on. And I drive with my mountain bike, which is 30 years old around. And then people, we have seen that on camera, when I was driving with the 22 kilo bike to Höttinger Höll, almost did it, the last part, but the steepest part, where I had to go down, and there I was pushing the bicycle, and there were coming runners, and they thought, boy, I'm so sweating because I have to push the bicycle. But they didn't check that I drove all up until to this point, you know. And that I see a lot of times. But that is, watch, that is brutal. That is so steep, I tell you that. Or people, I made a video in my village, I have it all. It was counted, you know. In my village, I have it all to get super fit. And that is the truth, because there we have also a part which is almost same steep as Höttinger Höll. It's not that long, you know. But there I have it all. When I train there, I can make every other part from the steepest parts which are here, you know. And that is the truth. And people give me thumbs down because they thought, wow, shit, you know, has no bicycle dress on and drives this old bike, what will he tell us, you know? That is the thing. And so when you don't watch like a bicycle, a race cycle or a mountain bike or whatever, then a few don't give you the respect. But I tell you, people who drive a lot of times, who are experienced, they give me respect because they know what I have done, you know. And that is the thing. When people write this or tell, not only to me in general, you know, I have trained with very good people, I told you this, but when they say something and maybe they are driving 2 days a week, you know, for 2 hours to a hill upwards, yeah, man, then what will I listen much, you know? I drove in summer last year sometimes over 30 hours per week, you know, over 30 hours in a week, what I drove with the bicycle. And then people who drive 2 days a week for 2 hours, you know, I mean, then you see the experience. I drove 6 hours the steepest parts again, and then I know that, you know, which is steep and not, which is possible. And that is the thing. And so here we are. That is absolutely brutal. Now we will count it out. But because now I know how steep it is, I show you that on the smartphone app, because, you know, to me it was always, I know it is steep or not, and when people ask, and I could say, hey, this is very, very steep, be prepared. But how steep was uninteresting to me, you know, if this is 25, 28, whatever, you know. And I know a lot of routes, you know, for example, because real bicyclists, you know, they give always respect, if you like someone or not, but you give respect because, you know, poor, this guy or this girl can do more than me. That is brutal, you know. And for example, one of the absolute steepest streets in the world where you can drive, but I was never there, only seen it and heard it, is Scanupia, you know, in Italy. And that is also in my federal state, because it is South Tyrol, you know, and South Tyrol was back then Austria. And that is a little bit in the near of Brennero, where we were playing basketball, where I drove with bicycle, you know, with car around 2 hours. That is in the near of the Gardasee in Trentino. In Scanupia, that is maybe the toughest thing from all in the whole wide world to drive with bicycle. 45%, you know, 45% the steepest part, that is Scanupia. Now I have to watch how we make this with the bicycle. Wait. I watch if this works out. So, works it out? Yes. That is great. So here you see it. Here we have very small things, so that is a complete race cycling thing. But this is 59 centimeters, so very small. The mountain bikes nowadays, you have such a big thing, you know, they go out so much. But when you drive streets, I don't want to have like a gorilla on, you know. So that is great, like on my mountain bike. But here, this tool, you know, very, very small. And here you know, very, very big, you know. And that means the ratio is very high. So here we have a ratio over 1, you know. That means for uphill it is not the best. A ratio under 1 is always better for steep parts. And there comes the point. I've tried it now. Of course I'm not allowed to drive, but a few meters I tried it and I have experience. You give me a bike, you know, and I know, well, because of my experience, this could be possible or not. And this is tough, very, very tough. That means you can drive long routes. I think these are, I have to make it all around, but it doesn't matter now. But for example, when you make one movement, you have around 4, 8, 5 times that it turns. That means you are very, very fast on the long tracks. But it also means, also with this 1 over 1%, because of this to this, it is not very light to drive, you know. But the weight, that is the point. It has only 9 kilo. And this guy who borrowed me this works in a bicycle shop, who are very experienced, you know. They have done their whole life this stuff. And he told me they have a bicycle in there for 13,000 euro, which weighs in under 6 euro, a race cycle. 13,000 euro. But for example, what does this mean? Is 9 kilo lighter to drive up than my mountain bike with 13 kilo 5, which I have now, you know, 13 kilo 5. These are 4 kilo 5 more, which I have to drive. Then I tell you, to me, against this, I can tell you right now, even without driving, my bicycle is better with the more weight, because I have a lighter Übersetzung, you know, I don't know in English, you know, because I have 0.8, you know, to drive up, and then the more weight is also be better than a lighter bike with heavier things, you know, to drive up. But when you have a very, very light one, then of course you have it easier, is my experience right now, what I can tell you. And now, how steep is this? I told you, Höttinger Höll, but this one now, no car. So I have my smartphone and I have an app in, and yesterday I was wondering why 15% and then 18%, and I said no, you know. And some people would trust the app and then they would say, hey, no, this is not that steep. No, I will tell you that now. What my mistake was, because I never measured out those things. And so wait. But you know, I love bicycling, and here, wait, my app, where we have it here. So now you will see, maybe when you are experienced, then you will already know what my mistake was. Good that we have shadow. Now watch. So when you have it here, you see this is 0%. Now we are very straight, and when you go up, then you see it, you know. And here we start from that point. Here it is also steep, you know. And now watch, we go in now here. Of course it is not exact 14%, you see it, but now you will already know the mistake. These are not percent, you know. And I thought, oh, 14% and 14, no, never. Because when a world championship was here at Höttinger Höll, then you can believe me that they have measured out this for completely real. And when they say it is 28% to Höttinger Höll, and I drive this all the times, and I tell you here it is steeper, you know, then it cannot be those 14%. And the mistake is, these are grad, you know, gradient, I don't know in English. This is not percentage. You have to count it other. And now I have also done this. I show you the picture. And of course it is not exactly, you know, don't count it, but we have it now a little bit that people have more imagination. So 14%. Wait now. Where do we have it? Here. Now, these are the gradient what we had now, and beside you get the percentage, and then it is the right thing. And that was my mistake yesterday. And now watch, 14 what we had now are 24.9, so 25% steepness this entrance has around 25. And then, yeah, we are correct. Because Höttinger Höll 28 the steepest, and here, this curve is the steepest. When you drive here up, which we did on video, exactly here, that is absolutely brutal. And now we count this out again. And now watch, I show you that. Once again the app, where do we have it? Here. So, and now the steepest thing. 18.4. You see that? 18.5. Little bit more here. We watch that, we see it. 19.5. You see that? 19.5. Here 18.2. That we have a little bit. 18.7. 19.4. You know? And we say around 19. And now watch. I take out the picture again. So wait, where do we have it? And now watch. 19, what is 19? 34%, 13.44. You know? That means almost 35%. This tool, 35%. And now you can tell me. And when you are a bicycler, then you know 35 is brutal. You know, Scanopia is the toughest maybe of the whole wide world, with the steepest thing 45. You know, but 35 is brutal. There you cannot sit on your bicycle. Of course, it depends which bicycle. You know, if you fall back, there are differences where the weight is. But 35 is absolutely brutal, and you know, and not many people will tell you, hey, no, there's nothing steeper than Höttinger Höll. You know, I was at Höttinger Höll, you know, the world championship part, the steepest part from the championship. I was there over 20 years ago. You know, I made videos over 20 years ago when I was there. Not many people knew it, you know. And now, because they only ride steepest part Innsbruck, then they come to the Höttinger Höll. I know my things, you know what I mean now. And now you have seen it, that we have proven it. Of course, it is not complete exactly, but you can trust me now. And now we have this, and I will make this by all the steepest parts, because there are really a few who are steeper. When you drive this, that is absolutely brutal, you know. And I do only such things, you know. And then you can trust in my experience what I do, you know. And then when people say who drive 2 days a week, I mean, what shall I say? And that is really tough, but this ends in nowhere, and that is why here almost no one is driving, you know. And King of Steepness is not only one time a steep part, it means you drive 6-7 hours, the endurance what you have to bring with you. And then also always again the steepest parts, in that combination. And there you can choose, of course, a race bike will be faster, you know. But at the end of the day, I would say, of course, when you have a very heavy mountain bike, then you have it heavier. But I tell you other part. When you are only used to drive very light bikes, for example, we say now a 7 kilo bike, you know, 7 kilo you drive the whole year. But then, what is the thing? You are used up to this bike for the whole year. When I drive my bike with the 13.5 kilo for the whole year, and then I go back for 1 day to a 7 kilo bike, you know, this has 9 kilo, but to a 7 kilo bike, but then it would be much easier, you know what I mean, because I'm trained the whole year with the heavier bike. But when you are driving the whole year with the light bike, that means you also that you are not that strong anymore, because you never drive a heavier bike. And when you then go back to the 13 kilo bike, it will be almost impossible, you know. And that is a thing, because you think, hey, I buy now a very light bike. Yeah, but then after months you get used to this, and then all heavier is much more heavier. And when I can do this with a heavier bike, I'm much more fit. And that is the thing, when I made my big tours with 8 hours, 30 minutes, but with a mountain bike, you know. I had such big wheels on a real street, you know. And that is like when you roller skate, you know. When you roller skate with the aggressive inline skate, small wheels with those big spaces, you know. And then you have real roller skates with the big wheels and the small wheels, and you roll so much more. I have experienced that, you know. The same is here. And you are much slower with this mountain bike than with a light bike and those small wheels. There I could drive much longer routes, you know. But I trained with the city bike, 22 kilo. I took a 8 kilo backpack with me and I put in a 12 kilo kettlebell in front of the back of the city bike. So that means I had 30 kilo extra weight, you know, I had 20 kilo extra weight plus the 22 kilo bike, and then I drove for hours, 3 hours more, you know, but straight again, because when I can do this with over 20 kilos weight, yeah, what do you think when I then have to drive with the 13 kilo 5 mountain bike many hours? You know what I mean? And that is the thing. And there it's the same with e-bikes. When you think, hey, an e-bike, now I can drive so much more, which I would never do with a normal bike, because the day has only, you know, we have only a few hours where the sun is shining, you know. But when you drive all the times with the e-bike, then you get weaker, and there you have to be careful, you know. And so to me the best thing is mountain bike. And here what is nice, I can lean very much forward, because with my bike, when I sit on, I can never relax. When I lean forward, my arm is always straight. I can never make this, you know. It's not perfect made for me, this bicycle, but it is what it is, you know. But King of Steepness, boah, that is great. And here, for example, we have the flat bars. That is also interesting with these big things, you know. If my basketball shoes get damaged, I have the big shoes. And there you can see all of this, you know. But very, very nice. Yeah, and there it is. But King of Steepness, it will last now until I can achieve this. Yeah, but one day we will do that. And now you have seen how steep this really is. So in that sense, we will see us again. Till then, bye and ciao.